Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with the three amigos. How you doing, Matt?
I'm very excited to cover these numbers, Michael.
Awesome. And Dion, how are you?
Howdy, I'm doing great. Ready for round two.
So, folks, I want to talk about 2008. There is a lot of talk in the YouTube land around 2008. Most people are saying this is going to be worse than 2008, and they are talking about prices. We have a different opinion, or at least I have a different opinion. We'll see where you guys are at. But before we get into it, let's just remind folks what 2008 was for each of us. Dion, what were you doing in real estate in 2008?
Causing the crash.
You were causing.
I was not an investor yet. I was a homeowner who had purchased with an adjustable rate mortgage because it's a nice low teaser rate. But this close to not being able to refinance, underwater, owed more than it was worth, all of the problems that basically people caused the crash by doing what I did at that point in time.
All right. And Matt, you owned a couple of units, but it kind of fell in around you, if I recall.
Yeah, like eight or 9 units, 9 units, 5 buildings.
So duplexes and
A try, and 3 singles.
okay. And then Olivia and I, as we wrote about in our first book, One Rental at a Time, to say that we saw the crash coming would be a lie. We just knew we couldn't buy the 9th house. So we got out of the way. We sold all of our houses, 1031 all of our houses into apartments, and the world came to an end. And we're sitting with apartments. We're like, wow, that was good timing. That worked out okay. So again, this talk about 2008 means something to us. We were all in it. We weren't 14 years old, in middle school when it was going on. We had real dollars at work, and Matt, you were struggling to survive. Dion, you were struggling to refi. I actually was doing okay because I had apartments, but that's a different story. Sorry, it's just the truth.
It is true.
I don't know what to say.
Those are the dollar menu days.
Yeah. But I want to talk about 2008 because a lot of folks today are trying to spread the word that we're going to see 2008 price crashes again. And first off, let me just say point blank, I would like nothing better.
Yes.
There's nothing today that I would like more to see Fresno, California fall 75% again. That is what it crashed in 2008. Well, in fairness, over 4 years, it crashed from peak to bottom 75%. So when people talk about 2008 again, or I'm even having people in my comments today saying it's going to be worse than 2008, talking about price, I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, do you have any knowledge of what was going on? So Dion, are you seeing people talk about 2008? This is worse than 2008.
I see videos like that come up on my feed often. Ironically, we're actually making a video for my channel called Worse Than 2008.
Oh, we are. Oh, cool.
But I have a different reason.
Okay. All right. And then Matt, you're seeing this as well.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
So here's the deal. I actually believe, and I'm willing to put up numbers that highlight, I actually think it's going to be worse than 2008. Now, it's not where everybody wants it, but it's in a very important part. So let's see if I can get technology to work this time. There it is. Awesome. So you guys have undoubtedly seen this more than you often care to talk about, I'm sure.
Yes.
It's like, God damn it, I'm going to look at that spreadsheet again. So let's go back to 2008 and level set where we are and why I think, first off, what they are saying, and then what I am going to say. You guys are seeing this now, yeah?
Yes.
So again, all these folks are talking about housing crash. And, as Dion has said repeatedly, 8.9% is the largest drop historically. I don't see anything getting close to that. But as you guys know, I'm getting really focused on transactions. And again, if you didn't experience this environment, you probably don't know this. Matt, you might know this. Dion, you might have seen it accidentally. And that is transactions. So again, people were buying homes 2005, 2006. See these crazy numbers here, right? 1.2 new homes, 7 million existing, total of 8.3 million homes. Bonkers. 2006 starts to crack a little bit, goes to 7.5, down about 6 or 7%. Again, goes down again, and then rolls over, right? Just falls. You can see new home sales fell 75% from the peak, right? 1.2 million down to 306,000. I think there's a chance that we see new home sales fall 50%. So not quite this drastic, because we're just not building, right? New home sales, I think last year were like 700,000 sale or 660,000. But here's the deal. Existing home sales. You know why? Do you know why these numbers here are 4 million and above? Do you guys know what was happening this from 2008 to 2011?
Foreclosures.
Foreclosures and short sales.
Yeah.
I bought homes 2009, 10, 11. I didn't buy from a seller, an owner, for 4 years.
Me either. Yeah.
So all of these sales were directly from banks. That's why these numbers look artificially good, because they were done through title companies and thus recorded. Right? All these foreclosures start back here. They take 2 years to process. Real estate agents actually made a bunch of money, right? Because they were selling foreclosures and short sales, right?
What a nightmare that was.
Yeah, new home sales fell off a cliff. But here's the deal. I do not see waves of foreclosures. In my market of Fresno, California, during some months, 80% of transactions were either foreclosures or short sales. I do not see that returning. And thus, I see transactions falling more than 2008. I could see transactions falling 50%. And here they never got below, I don't know, 40%, right? 7 million to 4.1. So I think it's going to be worse.
I believe the spreadsheet needs updating.
Yeah.
We need to add to it inventory.
Oh, there you go.
Because that was the biggest difference.
Yeah.
That was the biggest difference. My market in those, at that time, my market was 70, 80, 90 to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
My market now is 3.
Yeah.
A normal market, 20 to 30.
Yeah.
So it was triple. So I remember literally going through and looking at the foreclosures, and some that even when they would put them out there, they'd still sit. Yeah. And then some of the asset managers would have a strategy where they would put it on the market and they'd say, we're putting it out there for 279. It's like, it's never going to sell for 279. They're just like, yeah, but that's what we're owed. So we're going to start there.
Yeah, I remember.
Right. And then every 30 days it'd get reduced.
Yep.
And so I remember buying a property that all of my friends laughed at me for buying because I bought it after it'd been on the market for a year.
Yeah.
I bought it for 55 grand.
Yeah.
After it'd been on the market for a year. I still own that building to this day. It's worth $400,000 and monthly rent generates like almost $4 grand a month. Yeah. And I bought that for, like I said, $55,000. And I think I put 10 grand into it because that was when I was as broke as a joke. And I had to do everything I possibly could to try and put that deal together. Yeah. So yeah, this number of sales is paltry. It's horrible. But what's even worse is compared to the amount of inventory that there was. Because I'd be willing to bet you that the inventory numbers for those years was probably 6 million, 7 million.
Probably. It was
like you probably had 8 months and 9 months worth of inventory in a lot of those markets. And that's what drives down price. That's the biggest thing, is supply and demand.
Yeah. So I did the math where we were talking. So 7 million 76 to 4.1 is roughly 42%. This is why I'm saying, and I want to be very clear, existing home sales peak to trough this go around will be worse than 2008. We are going to go down more than 42% because normally speaking, 08, 09, 10 would have been a lot lower if banks weren't 80% of the sales. This time we have, like again, Black Knight, as you guys know, Black Knight, 50% of mortgages are 3.5% below, 75% or 4% or below. You're not selling. And oh, by the way, the unemployment picture is not horrible at 3.6%. Sure, it goes up a point. Okay. Housing Again, what are you going to do? Sell your house and rent? What's the worst thing to do today than own a home? Rent a home, right? So again, I want to be very clear. Existing home sales, and it'll probably be next year, will be worse than the '08 crash. And this hurts real estate agents, mortgage brokers.
Oh yeah.
It for investors, it's great because you and I get to pick off the motivated sellers. Again, I want people to hear transaction crash is a good thing. A lot of people go, stop talking about a transaction crash. We want to hear about price, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, a transaction crash is amazing. I've been waiting for motivated sellers. That's the only time I can find them is when I'm not competing with everybody else. What do you think, Dion?
Well, there's three things to take away from what you just said. Agents are going to starve.
Yes.
With less transactions happening. So if it's your side hustle, focus on other side hustles or your W-2. Lenders are going to starve. So we're going to see more creative first-time buyer programs, teaser adjustable rate mortgages to get you into this low rate, anything that they can do to make a transaction happen. And the third thing, as an investor, we finally have a metric where we can actually see motivated sellers. For the past several years, speed was your friend and you had to make an offer so fast, and other factors of over asking, waive contingencies, all the different things that we were doing to, some people were doing as investors to get deals done. So when a deal closed, you had no idea if that was a motivated seller or not.
Yeah.
Now, as days on market increase, we're finally going to have a chance to find the motivated seller because you make the offer that makes sense after it's been on longer than what was normal in your area. If they're motivated, they're either going to counter with something that makes sense or accept it. If they're not motivated, they're not going to accept it. They might ignore you. They might take the property down. So this is the first time we're going to be able to say, I found a motivated seller, where before, even when we closed on a deal, that might not have been a motivated seller.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And again, I want to stress again, crashing transactions is important. The other thing I would tell all my followers is do yourself a favor. You and I, just like last time, don't know where the bottom is. Make every deal better than the one you just closed. Matt, what are your thoughts on this and wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, everybody wants to enter the building on their first job and go right to the 42nd floor and get the corner office. Everybody wants that. That would be much easier. Would have been an easier path for me now that I look back at it. These 25 years I spent getting there was really stupid. But transactions represent that in this scenario.
Yeah.
It's transactions. Then when that falls, then it starts to become price reductions. As rates increase and all these other things start to happen. So this is the step that gets taken first. You can't skip this step. You don't go, transactions are awesome one day, the next day they're gone, and then prices fall 100% or 50% the next day. This is why it takes time to work through the market. And that's what will continue to happen. And if you look at the home ownership in your spreadsheet, it basically hovered around 68% in 5, 6, and 7. And then in 8, it was 66, and then it was 65, and then it was 64, and then it was 63, and then it was 60. That's what happened over those 5 years is, a massive portion of the market being left behind or basically being evicted out of their homes. And yes, there's a lot of varying factors to this. We also know that there was a lot more supply on the foreclosure side. It's not happening this time. You're going to see foreclosures, but there will be much, much fewer. And asset managers aren't dummies. They're going to do exactly what they did last time. There are not going to be the 800,000 or million homes that go into foreclosure from the great pandemic. Those are not going to happen all at once because they're across the entire country. It's going to happen in stages. It's going to happen month after month. It's something that largely the system will digest.
Yeah. Again, I want to be very clear. I'm so excited that transactions are crashing. They crash hard, right? We've already seen it. New home sales down 16%, existing home sales, I think it was down 21, purchase mortgages down. It's all happening really, really fast, which is really, really good because now we get to start fishing for new things. So Dion, where can people find you?
What I really like, Mike, is how in this environment, this current market, we're going to be able to make every deal better than the last, which is how I look at marriages. To find me right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom. I do my live streams on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific. For more terrible dating advice, I'll see you there.
So you're going on marriage number 3 is what I just heard you say.
Practice makes perfect.
There you go. There you go. And Matt, wrap it up.
I know Ash will be really excited that I'm not taking Dion's dating advice, and that I am not going to try and better my situation. So
you got a good one.
Yeah, really good. So Lumberjack Landlord YouTube and live streaming on Sundays, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time.
And Dion, your Tuesday at 4:30?
4 p.m. Pacific.
4 p.m. 4 p.m. Pacific. Thanks, guys.
Ciao.
Thanks.